Hey guys, how are you guys doing? Welcome to my channel. This is like kind of nerve-wracking. I feel weird kind of talking to myself. um, but I am 8 weeks postpartum. I am making this video because I was one of those people that was like terrified of giving birth. So I'm just kind of gonna hop on here and talk about my story, like how that went, my experience of giving birth. It was C-section, so I'll get into it in a minute. I'm really bad at this. I'm like a really talkative person, but it feels weird kind of talking to myself like in the camera. And I'm trying not to wake up my baby. His name is Ray. He was born on February 20th. His due date was actually March 17th, or March 15th, my bad. March 17th is my birthday. His birthday is his due date was March 15th. And we named him Ray Ezekiel Estacio Hernandez. But yes, so I was actually put on bed rest in February, because I started to have really swollen feet. They looked really bad. I can probably show you guys what it looked like, but it was really bad. So my legs were completely swollen and I gained like 20 pounds within like 2-3 weeks, and so those are the first signs of preeclampsia. And mind you, they tested me back in January for it and I didn't have it, but then in February they had me go to the women's hospital at my appointment, and it was like a week after they put me on bed rest because I was thinking I was gonna be able to go back to work, but that wasn't happening. Say this real quick. I actually like talked to my roommate and my boyfriend and I said, listen guys, I feel like my baby is coming soon. Like I had a dream that he was coming in a week, and they were like, okay. And I was like, I'm being serious, like, you know, like, oh no. And so they got everything ready. I mean, so I go to my appointment and my blood pressure was kind of high. They're like, oh, listen, like, we need you tested for preeclampsia. So we need you to go test for preeclampsia. So I did. I went over there and they had to do a 24-hour screening, like a 24-hour pee thing, which I had to pee in a bucket for 24 hours at the hospital. So me and my boyfriend stayed at the hospital, and I was about 36 weeks pregnant. I just turned 36 weeks, I believe. And they were like, the next day, they were like, well, you do have preeclampsia, but it's mild. Like, there's nothing to worry about. We're just gonna induce you next week. And I was like, okay, no problem. So I was really scared. The day that we went home, I started feeling chest pains, and I was like, what the heck? Like, I don't know why I'm feeling chest pains. And I was out of breath, like, and I know it's very normal to be out of breath when you're pregnant, but I was like, I felt like I was running a marathon. But yes, so I was laying in bed. I was like eating Chinese food or something, and I put on the blood pressure bracelet and it was like 170 over 100, and I was like, that's not right. And I was like, I'm just gonna wait a minute, it's not right. So I had my boyfriend do it and his blood pressure was like normal, and I was like, well, I think it'll be fine, right? First mistake. Anyways, gosh, I woke him up throughout the night. I said, listen, I think we need to go to the hospital. There's something wrong with me. And he's like, okay. So we go to the emergency room. I had to hand them my wallet and say, I'm having chest pains. Like, I can't answer questions. Like, there's something wrong with me. So I go, and it just gives me chills. This is so crazy. I go in the room and they're like, hook me up to the monitor, the blood pressure monitor, and they had to retake it. And I was like, what the heck? And they're like, your blood pressure is really high, and they didn't tell me what it was, but I found out it was 190s, and the 190s over like 100, 110, around there. So that's like kind of the first signs of like a seizure was happening. So I didn't know that at that point, but I kind of had this weird feeling that something was wrong. And I had never felt this in my life. Never felt this in my life. But I felt like something bad was gonna happen to me that day. Like, I don't, God, why am I crying? I started praying. I looked over at my boyfriend and I was like, Ralph, I'm so dramatic, but this is what happened to me. And I was like, am I gonna die today? He's like, no. I'm like, okay. I don't know why I'm crying. But I started praying, and I just kept, like, literally kept praying and praying. And I was like, God, please, like, I want to live for you more. Like, I was really begging for my life. I don't know. I was just so scared. And it didn't help that the doctor came in and he was like, listen, if we can't get your blood pressure down, you're gonna end up having a seizure and dying on us. And I looked over at my boyfriend and I literally just got done telling him, am I gonna die today? And he's like, you're gonna be fine. Mind you, later on he told me he was like freaking out. He just tried to keep his cool. So I was like, okay. And so they hooked me up. There was tons of nurses in there hooking me up to this like monitor, like this heart monitor. And they had to like rush me to the hospital, to the women's hospital, which is across the street. And they're like, we have to induce you right away. Like, you have to get this baby out. And I was like, okay, that's how preeclampsia works. You got to get the baby out for your blood pressure to go down. I'm like, okay. And so we get to the hospital and they were like, oh, you're back so soon. I was like, yeah. Literally the day after. They're like, okay, well, we're gonna do this. And I was like, okay. I had the best nurses, by the way. They were amazing, angels sent from heaven. I literally love them, each and every one of them. So they gave me, I don't know if I'm saying it correctly. It starts with a P. It kind of like, it's called God, I can't remember. So that's just kind of helps start your contractions. So I started to feel one contraction and I was like, no. I cannot deal with pain. So I am swollen at this point, and I think they gave me magnesium too, so I started to feel very out of it. And all I can think was, man, I really need a good picture right now. I thought I looked really good for some reason. I don't know why, but I'll show you all the picture. I had my boyfriend take it, and I was 200 pounds in that picture. But anyways, I was 135 to start out, and I gained almost, I think, 65 pounds. I'm really bad at math, but yes. So anyways, so they couldn't get my blood pressure to go down. It was like they were giving me blood pressure medication, and my blood pressure was not going down. Like from 6:30 to 3:30 to 3 o'clock, it was like, nope, not happening. It was not going down. And 3 o'clock, and the doctor came in. He said there's two options. I was like, what is it? He's like, we can wait and see what happens, which was not a good option. No. And he said, or C-section. I right away said C-section, and he was like, okay. So and this entire time they are monitoring Ray. So Ray is perfectly fine in there. He is literally living his best life. Like, he is doing great in there. And I'm the one struggling. So I see Ralph getting all prepared. It happened so fast. I go into the C-section, like the surgery room, and it was so freaky. It was just like the movies. I was like, what? It's like a big light on top of you. literally 10 nurses in there. I don't remember any of this. I just see pictures, and my boyfriend told me that there was like so many people in the room, and they were like, it felt okay. So they gave me the epidural, and they gave me something else to make me numb from the chest down. So they cut on your bikini line, so it's like super low. It's like where your underwear is at. So they're cutting, and I hear things. All I could feel is a lot of pressure on my chest and like jerking of my body. And I was just like, I was like freaking out. I was like, what is this? Is everything okay? Like, you can't see anything because they have a big blue curtain thing in front of you, like literally right here. And I couldn't even, I felt like I had to do this, like, because it was just in my face. So not even 30, I think they got him out like super quick, like 15 minutes, 20 minutes. It was super quick. And they sewed me up, and then yeah, I got to meet Ray. And I was so, like I said, I was a little drugged up, so I really couldn't enjoy that moment with him. And all I could do was like poke his face, and it's like, oh, he's so cute. And I didn't have any emotion really at that point. It was just like, I was so sleepy and so tired. And yeah, he was gosh, 5 pounds 11 ounces, born February 2020. So he was a little bit early. He was 36 weeks. He did have a low blood sugar, so he had to be in ICU for a couple of days, but it wasn't anything major, which is great. So yeah, that's pretty much that part. There's a whole lot more that goes with what happened to me after this recovery, like surgery. Oh my gosh, like I felt like I was in pain. Like I couldn't sit, like I had to be in one place and sit still. But my blood pressure was still high, and they had to give me magnesium. Gosh, magnesium is something, oh, like I didn't mention this, but magnesium is something to stop seizures from happening. So that's why they gave that to me. And then they gave me Percocets which, oh Lord, I could not deal with those. It did not make me sleep. I was up all the time. I was up. It was awful. But I could not move for a whole day. They had to put me on oxygen for a couple of days because I wasn't able to breathe on my own. I felt like a lot of pressure in my chest and a lot of pain in my stomach, and I wasn't allowed to eat for the next 24 hours. It was just liquid foods. So yeah, but this is another thing. When I first got up, there's so much that happened in between. I'm like starting to forget for some reason. But as soon as I got up from the bed, it was the hardest thing I've ever had to do physically. Like, I don't know, it's different for every person, but for me, it was like I literally had to like do it step by step. Getting out of the bed, it took me at least 10 minutes to get out of my bed. And as soon as I got up, it was like I had to have this like pillow thing and hold my incision there. It literally felt like guts were about to fall out of my stomach. Like, that's just what it felt like. It was weird. So I couldn't walk for like a couple days. I was finally able to walk on my own, and I wasn't able to use the restroom on my own. I was needing help with that. They give you like a little squirt bottle. I don't know if I have it over here, but I guess I can show you like what it does. I mean, this is what my friend gave me, but I didn't use this. I used like the actual bottle they gave me in the hospital. So what you do is fill this up with water, and I had to use some warm water. I didn't like cold. So you just spray it, and you're bleeding a lot after that. Like, well, you're bleeding after the C-section. Your body still thinks you gave birth, so it's having to get all of that out. And for actually 6 weeks I was bleeding. I just stopped bleeding like 2 weeks ago. But but gosh, I was cramping, my back was hurting. Another thing, I had the worst headaches. I literally could not, even footsteps would like, it was awful. It was really, really bad. That's kind of what happened at the hospital. Recovery here was a little difficult for lots of reasons. I was having my PTSD. I couldn't sleep. My PTSD is post traumatic stress disorder, and every time I would close my eyes, I would have those traumatic events happen again in my dreams, and it was from my like childhood. So it was really, really hard. And I just remember constantly always having to pray all throughout the day, like 24/7 it felt like, and read scripture and just like kind of like be in the right mindset because it was really hard. And I remember like my blood pressure still was really bad, so they had to give me blood pressure medication. They had to give me anxiety medicine as well, but it's just different for everybody. Like not everyone will go through the same thing, so like don't let it freak you out. So that is pretty much my C-section experience. Wow, I cannot speak. Experience. Everyone's journey is different, for sure. I love being a mom. It is very challenging, but so rewarding. I look at him and I literally feel like I'm holding my little angel. Like I love him so much. I'll probably make another video about how like I do my day with him, and kind of like how it is to take care of a newborn. So yes, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you want. So yeah, I hope you guys have a great day.